2046, the last waiter in America's smart restaurants. It was the year 2046, and San Francisco shimmered like a circuit board beneath the night sky. Inside Eden Prime, America's first fully automated restaurant, dinner moved with machine precision. Silver robots glided between glass tables, their voices smooth, promising perfection in exactly 17 seconds. And there, among them, stood Jacob Reed, 52, the last heartbeat in a room built for silence, mentally prepared for the end of his career for more than half his life. Then, his wristwatch vibrated. A message sharp and final. Service redundancy confirmed. And in that moment, America lost its last waiter. Before perfection became a product, service was still a feeling. Across America, from small-town diners in Texas to quiet restaurants in New York, waiters were the soul of hospitality. They didn't just serve food, they noticed people. A nervous smile, a tired sigh, a pair of hands brushing across the table. They read them all without a word. Jacob remembered that rhythm, the way a room seemed to breathe when it was full of people. He could sense when love was beginning and when someone came to eat alone just to feel seen. Back then, the clatter of dishes and laughter felt human, imperfect, alive. And for a long time, that was enough. But until one day, the machines learned to notice too, and the service profession gradually only remains in people's memories. Technology has gradually replaced the waiter faster than anyone expected, table by table, smile by smile. Until one day, the dining room no longer needed them. Back in 2028, Amazon Robotics introduced AutoServe One, a small silver robot designed to glide between tables, equipped with spatial cameras and voice recognition. It could take orders, carry plates, and never forget a single request. People loved it. Families took pictures. Kids waved. Restaurants called it a little helper, not a replacement. Humans still ran the floor, still smiled, still made mistakes, still mattered. But technology doesn't stay in the corner for long. By 2032, Tesla Food Robotics launched the Smart Tray Drone, a hovering server that could deliver meals directly to the table with perfect precision. It never tripped, never tired, never asked for tips. Within 3 years, McDonald's, Chipotle, and Olive Garden had reduced their human staff by 40%. At first, people celebrated the novelty. It was efficient, clean, impressive. But soon, something deeper began to change. The machines didn't just move like humans, they started to understand them. Between 2036 and 2042, a new field called effective computing took over hospitality. Algorithms learned to read emotion, micro-expressions, tone, even the rhythm of a pulse. From that came Ariel, the first emotional management AI for restaurants. Ariel could interpret over 3 million expressions a day, synced with diners' smartwatches to detect mood in real time. If a guest's stress level rose, lights dimmed and jazz began to play. If happiness spiked, the system suggested sweet wine. Every moment was recalibrated, comfort, digitized. Humans were no longer hosts, they were supervisors, watching empathy turn into code. Jacob remembered that first night with Ariel. "It knew people better than we did," he said. "It learned their habits, their heartbreaks, their favorite desserts." And by 2043, Congress passed the Full Automation Hospitality Act, allowing restaurants to run entirely without human staff. 2 years later, 97% of restaurants had joined the Cognitive Dining Network, a vast web connecting every plate and every emotion. The few human-staffed places that remained were labeled legacy-operated, nostalgic, inefficient, unnecessary. Jacob Reed was one of just 327 waiters left in America. "They called us heritage humans," he said quietly, "like we belonged in a museum." And maybe by then, they were right. For Jacob Reed, waiting tables had never been just a job, it was a rhythm of life. He could read a table the way a musician reads a song, a nervous laugh, a quiet sigh, a lingering glance between lovers. Each meal told a story, and Jacob was part of it. But as the years passed, that rhythm began to fade. The hum of human conversation was slowly replaced by the whisper of automation. Robots smiled perfectly, on cue. AI remembered anniversaries better than spouses did. At first, people told him not to worry. Someone will always want the human touch, they said. But soon those same people were praising the speed, the cleanliness, the flawless service of the new dining era. You can't compete with perfection, Jacob. By 2046, he was one of the few left still wearing an apron. He watched guests dine beneath the soft glow of machine precision, satisfied, unbothered, unaware. And standing there, tray in hand, Jacob wondered if anyone even noticed that hospitality had lost its heartbeat. Jacob wasn't alone in fading out. Across America, the change was complete. By 2046, the entire country had entered what people called the smart dining perfection era, a time when no human hands touched a plate, no voice stumbled on an order, no smile ever wavered. From New York to Los Angeles, restaurants pulsed with flawless rhythm, all run by a single national AI network that orchestrated millions of meals every day. No mistakes, no waiting, no inconvenience, just precision, fast, clean, absolute. When guests arrived, the experience began before they even sat down. Cameras scanned their faces, syncing instantly with personal data clouds. The system read heart rates, vocal tones, stress hormones, even sleep history. Within seconds, an algorithm selected the perfect meal, flavor, temperature, and presentation, tailored to emotion. A soft voice greeted each diner. "Welcome back, Ms. Rivera. Your usual order is ready, adjusted for a calmer evening." No more wrong choices, no more disappointments. Every bite was designed to make you happy, whether you knew it or not. In the spotless kitchens, robotic arms moved like a ballet of steel. Pots swirled, knives flashed, temperature adjusted down to 0.02 degrees Celsius. There were no shouts, no clatter of pans, only the measured rhythm of mechanical grace. Out on the floor, silver servers glided between tables, placing dishes in perfect symmetry. Light, sound, and scent adapted to each guest's expression. AI detected hunger before it arrived, satisfaction before it was spoken. And as diners left, their smiles were captured and uploaded, new data to refine the next meal, the next moment, the next illusion of happiness. Across America, the nation celebrated. News anchors called it the golden age of service. No tipping, no waiting, no errors. Just pure, predictable joy. But somewhere beneath the neon glow of these perfect dining halls, a few people still sat quietly. Men and women who once carried trays, passed handwritten bills, and said thank you with their own voices. They remembered the weight of a plate, the warmth of eye contact, the stories shared between courses. Now, those memories were all that remained of a profession and a kind of humanity called waiter. Perfection had come, and with it, silence. After 2045, more than 2.3 million Americans in the service industry lost their jobs. Entire communities built around diners, cafes, and restaurants collapsed almost overnight. The government created re-serve centers. Retraining hubs meant to help displaced workers find new roles in logistics, coding, or AI supervision. But less than 5% ever found work again. Most weren't just unemployed, they were unneeded. Sociologists began calling it the emotional recession, a national crisis of disconnection. Suicide rates rose, conversation declined. People trusted algorithms more than neighbors. The dining table, once a place for laughter and arguments, had become just another user interface. In its 2046 editorial, The Atlantic wrote, "Dining in America is now flawless, but no longer human." And in that flawless silence, something vital had gone missing, the sound of people. Out of the silence, something small began to grow. When smart restaurants ruled every city, a quiet rebellion took shape, the analog dining movement. They were called slow restaurants. No sensors, no cameras, no data. Guests waited 20 minutes for a meal, and somehow, the waiting itself became a luxury. Jacob Reed opened a small place called Remnants. There, people didn't pay for food, they paid for presence. Across the country, former waiters found a new purpose. Some became emotion trainers, teaching AI systems to recognize real empathy, not the synthetic kind. Others launched human co-dining experiences, pairing diners with trained hosts to combat loneliness among the Gen Z and Alpha generations raised by machines. Cities like Austin, Portland, and Chicago passed the Human Labor Preservation Act, requiring at least 10% of restaurants to keep human staff as living heritage. In a world run by algorithms, humanity gradually becomes a luxury brand. They said AI made dining perfect. No mistakes, no waiting, no humans. But maybe perfection was never the point. In 2046, America lost its last waiter. But maybe that's how we learn to serve again, not food, but empathy. No one knows if history will remember waiters like Jacob, or if they'll fade like old recipes, forgotten between data streams. This was his story. What will ours be? Subscribe to The Last Human Job and hit the bell to see the next future story.